Sound check.
What up? I'm right. It is story motherfucking time. So I don't know if you guys know, but I'm also a nurse. And I feel like I have stories out the ass for what it means to go to work every day and deal with confused patients, deal with emotionally exhausted patients, deal with patients who have a whole lot of family drama, deal with patients who just had a baby by a man who also had another woman who's currently having a baby. Yes, that story's for another day though. So anyways, today we're gonna talk about my guy who has dementia. He is hilarious. You will find out why. Okay, so I start my shift, I come on, I get report, and let me tell you, there are certain things that nurses say that immediately, like, it just sort of sets the tone for the rest of the shift. Like, really, like, just bad words, like, oh, this will be your problem, child, or let's give report on this patient last, or let's not go into the room, okay? Let's do this report outside. God. Dicky, why? Why? What is wrong with this patient? That's what the flippin' nurse told me about this particular patient. We'll call him Roger, okay? I can't really tell you his real name, HIPAA, all that shit. So, Roger was a special patient. She was like, Ashley, let me tell you, Roger had me running all day. I was in and out of this man's room. 1 minute he's super friendly. The next minute he has no idea where he is and he wants to knock everybody out. He wants to fling his shit at everybody. He wants to tell everybody to kiss his ass. All of that. I'm like, all right. A typical day with a demented patient. Y'all think this is a game? I cannot make this up. So my shift starts, we're done giving report. I tell her have a good night, and it's night shift. And yeah, I'll do my darndest to make it through this shift with Roger. All of my other patients, 3 other patients. So there's Roger and then 3 other patients. So I have a total of 4 patients, right? I checked on all of my other patients before I went into Roger's room, because when a patient like that is asleep, you let them sleep, my friend. So not only that, but there's this disease called sundowning, which means during the day that patient is chill, cool, very amicable, very compliant, very responsive, very agreeable. And then as soon as that sun starts going down, it's like black and white, day and night, literally. I have no idea who this patient is anymore. So only thing is, he was bad during the day, which means he'll be worse at night. So I checked on my other patients. I did everything I had to do with them. They're cool. I go in there with him. Roger is up and he is on his way out of that bed. Why? There's this thing called a bed alarm, which means when certain patients who are at risk for falling are about to get out the bed, that alarm should immediately like alert the whole floor. It's loud, it's high pitched, it's obnoxious, and it makes everybody uncomfortable. Like everybody first stops for a nanosecond and then they beeline to the sound. That didn't happen. Roger was halfway out the bed and no bed alarm went off, which means my guy did not have the bed alarm on. Anyways, so I was like, Roger, where are you going? He turns around and he has an aggressive look on his face, and then immediately it relaxes and he's like, well, hello there, good looking. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. He was like, you must be my nurse. Yes, Roger. Get back in the bed, Roger. You've fallen 3 times at home, Roger. You're gonna fall here. Get in the bed. Roger's like, I'll get in the bed if you get in the bed with me. Roger, I'm not getting in the bed with you. Please get in the bed. He's like, all right. So he sits in the bed and he was like, who are you anyways? And so, you know, I start to explain myself to him, which is the beginning of explaining myself multiple times, the same thing over and over. Anyways, so I'm like, Roger, I have medications for you. He's like, I don't take no meds. I'm good. I don't take no meds. Okay, all right, Roger. It's fine, whatever. I'm gonna come back and check on you in a little bit. I turn the bed alarm on. I don't want to argue with him. I'm like, Roger, please stay in the bed. I start to walk out the room, but I don't actually leave. I'm like hovering at the door because I'm paranoid that as soon as I actually walk away, this man will literally get right out of the bed. But he stays there for a little bit. I don't know if he kind of forgets that he was trying to get out the bed. I don't know. And I'm like, okay, let me see how much I can get done before he tries to get up again. My night's progressing. It's actually progressing nicely. At this point, it's like 11:30 p.m. and Roger has only tried to get up twice. That's fine. That's fine. He cussed out a couple of my coworkers, you know, a couple of the CNAs that went in there, other nurses, just to check on him because everybody already knows that he's a problem child. It's fine. It's fine. So I'm documenting all of the stuff that I've done so far in the shift, and the CNA comes up to me and she's like, I just walked Roger to the bathroom. I don't know what ended up happening. I guess for her to have to like run away to go check on something else or some other patient who was a fall risk, but she was like, can you please just go check on him? I left him in there. And I was like, shit. So I don't even finish documenting. I don't even give it a minute. Like, he's just too unpredictable. I just immediately got up, went in there, and the door's closed. So I like slightly cracked the door to check to see if he's cool. And he's standing up and he's holding onto the rail. And I'm like, okay, cool, cool, cool. So I like, you know, push the door, not shut, but like, you know, just enough. And I was like, Roger, I'm out here. Please let me know if you need anything. And he was like, what? Who's that? Immediately I regretted it. And I was like, don't worry about it, Roger. Don't just keep doing what you're doing. So maybe like, I don't know, 45 seconds to a minute goes by, but it felt a lot longer, mainly because I'm paranoid. So I'm like, let me just open the door a little bit more just so that I can keep my eye on Roger. Like, he just makes me nervous. And as I'm opening the door, like, I hear heavier breathing. I'm like, does this guy have like prostate issues? Because that usually means like it takes a minute for you to pee, especially when you get older. And I wanted to say, Roger, are you good? But every time I say something to him, he gets too distracted and like he starts to think that he's somewhere else. And then his breathing like picks up and I'm like, this doesn't sound right. So I'm like, Roger, like, are you good? And so he tilts a little bit and I see that his arm is moving in a certain direction, like repeatedly. And I was like, Roger, what are you doing? And he was like, is that my nurse? And he turns around a little bit more and we make eye contact. And he was like, there she is. He was like, come in here, girl. I need to see you. And I was like, Roger, what are you doing? My guy, Roger, is masturbating in the bathroom, in the hospital. And he asked me to come in so that he can see me. I wanted to go home. I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit nursing. Okay? I just wanted to take a break from life. Okay? I was like, Roger, wrap it up. Wrap it up. I stepped out because clearly Roger is just fine on his own. I see the CNA like, you know, power walking past the room and I call her name and I was like, please come in here and just stand here with this man until he finishes. And she was like, oh yeah, cool. I didn't clarify what he needed to finish doing. And so I'm stepping out. I'm about to walk out the room. I make sure that she's by the door because he's still a fall risk. And she opens the door and she's like, Roger. And her voice is all nice and calm. And she's like, Roger. And I die laughing. I'm like, that's it. I'm done. My shift needs to end right here. This is the shiitake mushrooms that we deal with as nurses. This is a good shift. Anyways, thanks for listening. Have a good night, day, shift, whatever.